Welcome back, everybody. I'm diving right in. Pikes Peak. My wife and I had never done a 14er, which, for those that aren't familiar, I'm just learning being out here in Colorado. 14er means a mountain that you climb that the peak is at least 14,000 feet or above. Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs is just over 14,000 feet. It's been something that we've both wanted to do for a long period of time, and it just happened a month or so ago. We decided the same day that we decided to climb Pikes Peak, there was the marathon going on the same day. There's two ways to go up Pikes Peak. One is the bar trail, which is a little less, it's more miles, but not as crazy or steep or rocky, etc. Since that was going on, we went up the backside of the mountain, which I believe is called Crags Trail. Much less traveled, a little more dicey at times, and that'll be part of the story that I'm getting into. We decided to go up that side of the trail. I think it was about 6 or so miles from the bottom to the top of Pikes Peak. And we start going. It's a cool, beautiful morning. It was really beautiful most of the time on the way we were hiking up. And there's certain things that happen along the way, which is we met incredible people. We met a father daughter that were out visiting the Air Force Academy who were so cool. The daughter was pushing her dad into something that was way out of his comfort zone. Got a chance to chat with them for about a mile. We met these students that went to this Christian college down the street from us. There must have been 30 or 40 of them doing the trail. We got with about 4 or 5 of them, nicest young men. And we just talked about life and God and struggles and doing difficult things like this. And it was just so beautiful because, first off, you're forgetting the difficulty of the mountain you're doing. And also, it's just fun to meet people that are out there doing something difficult as well. The views when you're going up, you're in the trees for the first couple miles, and then boom, the whole thing opens up. And my wife Jessie and I were just blown away. It's one of those situations where you get above the tree line and it's so beautiful. And we take a picture. We're like, wow, it doesn't get any better than this. 10 minutes later, you're higher. Whoa, doesn't get any better than this. 8 minutes later, you're like, whoa, it's even better. Doesn't get any better than this. And the higher you go, it gets more and more stunning. The other thing we learned is there's a place, I think it's called Devil's Playground, that's about two-thirds of the way up. And you hit 12,000 feet, I believe, is where Devil's Playground is. And then from there, you push to the ascent to the top. And what we learned is thank goodness we packed pretty well because it got significantly colder from that 12,000 point up to the 14,100 feet of the top of the mountain. Still beautiful out. The sun was shining, blue skies. It just got cold quick. And we also learned, which we didn't know this, it had snowed a couple days prior. And as you get closer to the top, of course, it's colder and the snow will stay. And there are some areas where it's a little dicey. There's maybe a cliff right there, and you don't want to step 3 inches to the left. So Jesse and I were trying to focus one step ahead of the other one. I don't think I had the best shoes on to do this activity, but you're in it at the moment and you have to keep pushing through. We made it to that section where it did have a significant drop off, and you just had to be very, very careful when you're going through that, especially with the snow and in some cases some ice up there. And we get to a point where you go to the final push to the top, probably half a mile maybe to the top. What you don't realize is this half a mile is basically bouldering straight up the side of the mountain the entire time. And again, it would have been a little different if we'd have gone a week or two prior. It would have been a little different because there was no snow and there was plenty of snow while we were up there. You just have to be ultra careful. And also looking back at it, we're trying to focus on where we're going. We're going to the top of the mountain. There's the goal up there. Because if you focus on looking down and a school bus looks like an ant and you realize, wow, we're up here. And if I make a misstep a foot or two to the right, not a foot or two, probably 6 to 12 inches, it's going to be bad news. So focusing on where you're going, not where you've been. There you go. That's a key takeaway. Focusing on the top of the mountain, not back down to where you were before, because that is the laser in focus. Where are you going? That's where you want your eyeballs to go, not where you've been. I remember we went whitewater rafting at one of our breakthrough adventure camps, and the guide said, we want to look at where we're paddling. Don't look at the tree we could potentially paddle into because we'll organically go that way. Focus on where we want the boat to go. That's the main focus. We want to hit this segment of the rapid right here. Don't worry about looking over there. That's the tree. We don't want the tree. We want to look this way. And it's the same thing. Look at the top of the mountain versus looking where you were before that. I got to write that down. I didn't even write that before I did this episode. So we get through the final half a mile or so, and slowly, because it's difficult, it's icy, it's snowy, we get to the top, and it's one of those euphoric moments that her and I got a chance to share. The views were stunning, basically 360-degree views. There's actually a shop and a restaurant at the top of Pikes Peak, which is rare for a 14er, I'm sure, to have that. And we got a chance to just smile, enjoy the moment, realize we did something so difficult together. And it was euphoria. It was the biggest smiles. We got the flag with Pikes Peak, the 14,000 feet, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And then we had to hike down, which we didn't realize that it would hail. It hailed and rained the entire way down. It hailed for the first 20, 30 minutes, and then it rained after that for the next hour and a half. I will say this. No, it didn't take us that long. I think an hour. You go a lot faster when it's hailing and raining on the way down. We realized that. What are the takeaways? What do we learn from this Pikes Peak experience? The first thing is this. Doing something hard together is more fun. You heard the episode where my wife Jessie and I talked about our honeymoon at the Camino, where we hiked over 100, I think it was 150 miles over the course of 6, 7 days. At the end of each day was euphoria because we just did something that was so hard and you got to experience it with somebody you love. And it just elevated that entire experience. The second takeaway was people are awesome. People are freaking awesome, especially people that are out there also doing hard things. You'll meet the best people hiking a mountain, running a marathon, during an endurance race, doing an obstacle course race. You'll meet the coolest people because we're all in it together. We're all nervous and scared to death before we start. We're all doing something that's out of our comfort zone, and we're all going to have an incredible story to tell for the rest of our lives. The third and final piece is to focus on where you're going. Focus on the top of the mountain. Don't look to where you've been. You've already been there. You've already accomplished that part. Where are you going? And keep the focus on that. You can use that whitewater rafting example as well if you want to use that. Don't look at the tree. Paddle to the opening. Paddle to the opening. Paddle to where you want to go, not where you're worried about ending up. Where are you going? The challenge is this. You know, I leave you with a challenge at the end of every episode. My challenge involves somebody else this time. My challenge to you is invite somebody else that you know to do something difficult. And it could be slightly difficult, but bring somebody else in with you because it elevates the whole experience and it brings you two closer together. It could be a sibling. It could be your parent. It could be a good friend. It could be just a random friend you haven't talked to in a while. Could be an old friend. Could be a neighbor. And it could be the simplest thing. It could be the simplest thing. If you have a cold plunge outside, invite your good buddy over, jump in a cold plunge with you. If you want to go for a run, invite a friend to come with on a run with you. If you're giving a speech, invite somebody else. Hey, come give a talk with me. There's an open mic night. Let's go do it. because then you link so much closer with that person. My wife and I feel so much closer when we do these difficult things as a couple. And now we have stories we can tell and memories we can have forever. Give it a shot. The challenge, invite somebody to do something difficult and feel that bond you have with them, especially as loneliness is at an all-time high. Connecting with other people is a beautiful way to punch loneliness in the mouth, build beautiful memories, and connect better with somebody that's important in your life. There's your challenge. I hope you accept it. Let me know if you do. What did you do? Who'd you do it with? Send me some emails, DM, whatever. I want to hear about it. I love you all. Challenges build champions. We're out of here. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel.